What makes a cozy game? Cozy games have ended up in this strange space where it isn't really a defined genre, but everyone kind of has an idea of what it's about. They hit a massive rise in popularity thanks to the efforts of the giants at Nintendo with Animal Crossing, as well as the indie sensation Stardew Valley. Is it a genre? Is it an atmosphere? Or an art style? There are of course very obvious genres that games can fall into, such as real-time strategy, CRPGs, roguelikes, Metroidvanias. All of these are really well-established genres that games can easily fit into. But where exactly does that leave cozy? When I started building out my game, I always said that I sought to make a cozy game. But I think I need a better understanding about what that means. So let's dive into it a little bit more. Let's start by actually defining what cozy means. According to Google, giving a feeling of comfort, warmth, and relaxation. This is actually really good to know because all of those terms, comfort, warmth, relaxation, have to do with the way we feel. It is an adjective after all, a description of what we're experiencing when we play a game. Pretty much the exact feelings that I have when I play games like Animal Crossing or Stardew Valley, for the most part anyway, and I'll get into that. But what is it about these games that evoke these feelings? To go into this a little further, let's dive into some design patterns that are often at the forefront of quote-unquote cozy games. There's a theory in psychology known as Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is a pyramid of categories that looks like this. There are 5 categories contained in the pyramid: physiological needs, safety and security, love and belonging, self-esteem, and self-actualization. The concept of the pyramid is that the lower sections, the larger ones, are areas that humans need to prioritize first. Physiological needs, for example, include the necessary things that we humans need to actually live, like air, food, water, shelter, and so on. Next is safety and security, which is closely tied to the physiological needs, but it includes things like livelihood, income, the ability to provide for yourself or for your family financially. Love and belonging is where you start to prioritize your relationships. Self-esteem is where you start to focus on your confidence and your own personal achievements. And finally, self-actualization is prioritizing your creativity and true sense of purpose in life. Something you can't really think too much about if you don't have air to breathe. So why do I bring up this pyramid? A lot of games that prioritize comfort and coziness prioritize the top 3 layers of the pyramid and really cast aside the bottom 2, as it's typically the bottom 2 layers that are associated with the most stressful aspects of life. I'm going to use Stardew Valley as my primary example going forward, just to keep things simple. In Stardew Valley, players don't have to worry about physiological needs at all. You don't have to worry about breathing or eating, and shelter is already provided to you with a nice little place to sleep. And, at least in terms of security, the IRS isn't going to come knocking on your cabin door if you don't manage to sell 200 cauliflowers by the end of spring. You technically don't even have to earn money at all if you don't want to, but by avoiding the first 2 layers of the pyramid, the game lets you focus on the top 3, which are evidently a lot more emotionally charged than the first 2. You get to nurture relationships with people of Pelican Town. You get to grow your skills and capabilities, and even discover self-worth and a peace of mind in a setting away from the big city. And on top of all this, you're able to do this without really worrying about time running out on you. Sure, each day has a time limit, but if you're trying to become best friends with Krobus, the game isn't going to punish you if it takes you 4 years to do it. That's all up to you. Let's step away from the pyramid for a little bit and talk about another aspect that cozy games excel at: intrinsic versus extrinsic rewards. What's the difference between these terms? Intrinsic rewards I like to think of as the fun is in the journey, where you're doing something because the thing itself is satisfying to you. By contrast, extrinsic rewards are rewards that come from the results, as in you're doing something to get something out of it. Let's look at an in-game example. Personally, I find chopping down a tree in Stardew Valley to be incredibly satisfying. The sound design, the rhythm, it just clicks for me. That to me is an intrinsic gameplay reward. I want to play something in the game because that's what I want to do. The extrinsic reward is the resulting wood that gets dropped from the tree that I chopped down. It is true that these extrinsic rewards are part of almost any game you play, but one aspect about cozy games in particular is their emphasis on the intrinsic satisfaction you get when you play them. Animal Crossing doesn't reward you with anything for making your guest room the cutest thing on the planet, but that's exactly what gives some people the most enjoyment in that game, just like how I enjoy improving my fishing skills in Stardew, not necessarily just because I need a catfish. I spent the majority of this video talking about the psychology and design patterns of cozy games, but most people tend to associate the cozy vibe with aesthetic appeal. It is true that the way a game looks and feels largely contributes to emotions as well. Warmer colors are naturally going to bring more warmth to a game, just as calming music promotes relaxation. But I'm not going to focus too much on aesthetics in this video, just because it brings me back to a point that I want to touch back on. Cozy isn't a category, it's an adjective, which also means that it's subjective. Just like different people will apply the word fun to different things, everyone is going to apply the word cozy to different games. Stardew Valley is technically speaking a farming simulation game. It just happens to be one that is also fun and cozy. Not everything inside the game is technically speaking cozy, though. You know what isn't cozy? This. Or this. Or this. But they're still part of a great game. In a similar sense, even games that aren't typically known as cozy games have some of the coziest moments for me. In Breath of the Wild, sitting by the campfire, taking a look at the breathtaking views, finding a bench in Hollow Knight, and just taking in the ambience and atmosphere, knowing that you're somewhere safe, warm, comforting, relaxing. All in all, what I'm getting at is that cozy isn't an all-encompassing term for a game, but any game can have cozy elements. So if you're making a game and wanting it to be cozy, ask yourself if you want all of it to be cozy, or just certain aspects of it to be. And if you're someone looking to play a cozy game, don't write a game off just because it doesn't fit the typical cozy vibe. You might be surprised at what games are actually cozy for you. Thank you so much to everyone for watching. And if you're at all interested in learning more about coziness and going into a deep dive about the cozy aspects in game design, I've linked an article below that I referenced a lot in this video, and it does a fantastic job of going into great detail in design elements around coziness. But I'm always excited to know about your thoughts. What makes a cozy game cozy for you? Or what are some of your favorite cozy games? Let me know down in the comments. And if you want to get caught up in the progress on my game that I'm making, go ahead and check out this video here. All right, that's it. See ya.